morning. I thought I was going to get one more sip in there before we started.
A sip of your favorite things?
A sip of one of my favorite things. And it is. I absolutely, well, I shouldn't say I love it, but I really like it a lot. Is caramel macchiato, the sweet cappuccino drink. I don't like coffee. People know I don't drink coffee, but
I don't drink coffee either. So if it isn't foo-foo coffee, I won't drink it.
Oh, you won't drink foo-foo coffee? Oh,
no, I have to have foo-foo coffee because I won't drink regular coffee. It's like drinking mud or something.
Okay. For all of you die-in-the-wool coffee lovers out there, we apologize for any rude comments that we might make about coffee.
Well, and that just leaves more for them, and I'm happy to do that for them. It's a gift.
I will contribute to that gift. You know, the only cup of coffee that I had, I remember, I was on a vacation with my parents, and we were in one of those little old streamline trailers that you pull along behind that's barely big enough to get 4 bodies in. Anyway, it was not supposed to be cold where we were, and it was like 50 degrees in that little trailer. So Mom got out of bed and didn't think to bring hot chocolate. I mean, it was summertime. So anyway, she made her and Dad some coffee, and she gave me a half a cup, and she said, "Here, you need to drink this to get yourself warmed up." I was like, oh, I was probably 10, maybe. Like, no.
My mom tried several times to get me to learn to drink coffee. And then I moved away from home at 19. I got married. And so my husband didn't drink coffee. So I never had to, it wasn't something I had to acquire, for my surroundings. And it's like, okay. But the thing is, coffee has been a thing in our culture for how many thousands of years? And we've got people making money producing all kinds of coffee. So I think there's a blessing for coffee drinkers and coffee enthusiasts. I mean, you can have it any way you want it. And I think that's a good thing.
Even the foo-foo coffee.
That's right. That brings us into the coffee fold.
Even with the pretty little designs on the top from the barista.
Yeah,
I love what Pastor Lydia put on. You do not drink coffee. Our podcast is not for the coffee drinkers only. Yes, we are very open doors, open minds, open hearts. You can drink coffee, you can drink tea, you can drink soda, whatever you choose to drink with us is just fine with us.
And we're excited to have you all here today, and we're looking forward to our topic because it's one of our favorite things to be here today.
Oh my. Our favorite things. So we'll start out with yesterday and the children's sermon. How precious. I mean, I had tears in my eyes when Pastor Lydia asked Nathan what his favorite thing was, and he said his family. And oh my goodness, just think about that and let that soak in for a little bit. I talked to his mommy after church and told her that just brought tears to my eyes, that he was so sincere, and it was, what a blessing for him to announce that. So brave, so bold.
So confident that he knew that his parents loved him and he loved them. And that was his favorite place, his happy place.
Yeah, and his family.
Yes.
Yeah, that, I mean, yes. And I'm sure that includes his aunts and uncles and cousins and yeah, and grandma and grandpa. How I don't know what they call John and Cheryl, but anyway, what a blessing.
Well, and he went on to say, I love them, each of them, for who they are. And that's the thing. We have to love each one of us for where we are, what we do, what we don't do. We have to, it's accepting, it's loving, it's inclusive, it's all the things that we want family to be, our safe space.
And yes, family is a safe space. And if you are in a situation right now where you don't have family living nearby that you can be face to face with, then your church family is here to be your support. And Debbie and I were talking before we started about how important face to face communication is for clarification, to make sure that we're all on the same page. You know, I do a lot of email, but when you send an email, you don't really know how the other person is reading that. What frame of mind are they in when they read that? How do they accept that? How do they process what you're sending? So that personal contact is so important in how we communicate and how we support each other.
Well, and it's the vocal inflections. It's how when you listen to an artist sing, or you listen to a vocalist sing, or play an instrument, they pour their soul into that. And it's their love language at the moment. And you get a sense of the meaning of the song or where that vocalist or artist is coming from. Or if you look at a piece of art that someone has created, a quilt, a painting, ceramics, any of mosaics, any of those kind of things that someone has poured their heart and soul into, that is where they are at the moment. And that's what they bring to you each and every time.
Yeah, it is. You can see their love shine right through. And yesterday when Kathy was singing My Favorite Things, you could just tell that was her heart and soul.
Yes, she did.
Every word that she sang was, yeah.
I truly enjoyed every word, and I was singing along in my soul with her. It's like, oh yes, I know all those words, and I know the happy place she's in when she sings that.
Yes.
And I think that's important. And if you can bring that as a vocalist or as an artist of any kind, a dancer, to that, or an actor, anybody that puts themselves out there to share a piece of themselves with you, that's a precious gift they've offered you.
It
and
is.
Please be open to that. And you know, it's an important, I don't know, it's an important step in building relationships and family.
Well, and we have so many talented people at church that are sharing their talents, not just music, but you know, you think the Wednesday work crew, we've got Jack and Steve and Sid. That's a totally different
Skill.
Perspective. It's a totally different skill. We've got Judy, who has jumped right in and learning the office and now taking care of our beautiful church building.
They all have the one thing in common. Those people is creative problem solving skills. And so that's a whole other gift that's separate from art, but it's still an important gift that they give to the church.
You know, I think part of that too, Debbie, is wanting the space, wanting the time, wanting the situation to make someone else feel happy. by what they're doing. And now Cheryl Morrison is planning some special events for us. That's very exciting. So all kinds of people sharing talents.
Her enthusiasm is contagious in a
is.
very, very good way. And so I'm excited to see where her enthusiasm will take us as a church, because what she brings is another precious gift.
Hang on for the ride.
That's right. And I'm excited to get on the roller coaster.
I am too.
But the other thing I want to express about that is flexibility. We have to be able to take it in and appreciate the new gifts that people are bringing to us. They've been there all along, but haven't been able to be revealed. And now it's time for the revealing. And if we're flexible in our acceptance and in our love of each person's individuality, I think that we have a bright, bright future ahead. The gifts and the excitement and the contagious thing about it. I don't know.
I do too.
I'm hopeful. Hopeful is important.
I'm very hopeful, over the top hopeful, because we just have so many people sharing their talents. And yes, don't be shy. Who knew that Carol Schwartz would be leading the exercise group? I mean, wow. We have so many talented people that are hiding their light under that basket. Don't be shy. We need to know. We need to start new interest groups.
Well, and the thing about that is, when I was listening to the sermon yesterday, I wrote 2 words on my bulletin. I wrote constancy and irrepressible. And I think that that's what I'm seeing in our church today. That's what's being revealed. The constancy of all those who have served for so long and so well. And I look out and I see all those committed faces, and the joy that they bring, the sense of accomplishment that they have for their years and years of service that has been done well. And then I look out and I see the irrepressible joy of people like Cheryl and our new, not new, but less talked about accompanists like Patricia and Donna. How exciting to have their gifts. And then Carol, with her faithfulness to the exercise group, Aegis Energy Circle. I think the AEC has got a lot of potential, and I think that they can grow that group into a multi-age group. But seniors, it's an important thing, because seniors, we don't want to exercise. We're comfortable sitting in our chairs. We're comfortable sitting at home. But this is a place where we could go and be together and work out our kinks.
Yes. We need to put a plug in right here for July the 18th for a new activity, karaoke night, right there at First Methodist Church, 6 to 8 p.m. And we will have pizza. We will, ask people to get on the microphone and sing. There will be words.
I don't want to limit it just to singing, but I think if they like to read poetry, if they want to do a dramatic reading, you shouldn't be limited by the thought of having to sing. If singing is not your thing, you should still bring your gift and get on the microphone and talk about that. Share your talent. I think that it can be many things. It doesn't have to be singing. So don't get put off by the idea that you have to have musical ability in order to get in front of a microphone. There are so many other gifts. I look back at many of the great actors, and I think of Raymond Burr and his ability to read, and his voice was mesmerizing.
It was.
But it wasn't a singing voice. It was a reading voice. It was a dramatic voice. So I think that, bring your poetry. If you're if you write poetry, I want to know about it. I want to read it. So I think that we should encourage those kinds of things.
Yeah. And if the person that pens that poem doesn't want to read it, we'll find somebody to read it for you for sure. But just come and enjoy. It's always good to get together and share and eat. And then I didn't say, but we're going to have ice cream also.
Oh, so, no.
I mean, pizza, entertainment, community, ice cream. Couldn't get any better.
I don't think so. And I'm excited to get started with that too. I think it's a great beginning. It's not the end of anything. It's not the end of ideas. Just because a group has started doesn't mean that an idea you've had doesn't mean that we aren't looking for other ideas. So we get tired of, sometimes we run dry on the well trying to think up ideas. If you have another idea, we need to hear about it.
And we will be going outside the walls of the church, inviting people as well. So, we will be opening that up to our neighbors, to our community breakfast, to other churches in the area. So be thinking about that. Put that on your calendars now. We don't want you to miss out on all the fun.
That's exactly right.
So I want to go back to some favorite things before we go back to your words, Debbie. So what are some of your favorite things?
Well, I have to say music is one of my favorite things. It's one of my happy places. But it was something that started over time. I mean, I took piano lessons from a very early age. Mom signed me up for piano lessons at age of 6. Right now, I couldn't play you anything, but I know how to read music. It gave me a sense of what rhythm was. It was a beginning place, and it turned into something different for me than it did for my mom, but it was a gift that she made sure I was able to express. So many thanks to my mom for encouraging me, because we need to encourage people in their strengths.
I took piano lessons when I was very, very young. I don't even know whatever happened to that first piano that we had. But my cousin had purchased, my aunt and uncle purchased a piano for my cousin. And she took lessons for maybe a year. She was 10 years older than me, and then decided, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And my folks bought that piano for me to take lessons. No, I never practiced enough to be good, but I can play out of the Cokesbury hymnal. I can play out of our church hymnal. And I still have that piano that I got 65 years ago. I still have that piano. It needs to be tuned, very badly needs to be tuned. And I think of when a piano gets out of tune, it's kind of like us. Sometimes we get out of tune. Sometimes I get grumpy. Sometimes I don't always see all the positive things in people, or the negative jumps out at me instead. And so it's okay, because that's part of who we are. But some of my favorite things, even when I'm grumpy, like Debbie, music, and something that can bring me out of a dumpy spell is just seeing other people be happy, enjoying each other, being together. I live across the street from an elementary school, and one time somebody said, "Oh, well, that's not going to be good. That's going to be really noisy." I said, "Well, it's really good noise, because you can hear the children laughing and playing and the squeals. It's just, those are happy things.
Well, and being together on Sunday, for a person who doesn't get out much, coming together on Sunday, and we can get together and communicate and share our out of tuneness and get back into tune, because we share it with somebody. The burden becomes lighter. The chord becomes less discordant and more in tune, more lovely and rich. When the chords are perfectly in tune, the blend is rich and full, like a good piece of music, or a guitar chord, or a chord on the organ that's rich and full and lifts us up out of the dumps. It doesn't matter. When I hear Chris play the prelude on Sundays, it always lifts me up to hear him play that. And there's been times where he has not a piece of music sitting on that piano, and I can see in his mind that he's got it all. He can see it in his mind. He can hear it in his mind.
Right.
Without a piece of music sitting in front of him, he blends pieces together, and it's such a wonderful gift that he has, that he brings to us in
That's
that.
amazing. Amazing talent. I love what Scott said about when we are out of tune or grumpy. It scratches other people's ears, or worse, scratches their heart or their soul, and we don't even realize that we've done that. And if we do realize that, we need to take an opportunity to apologize, so that they know that my word or my action was not intentional.
And Scott is so right with that hymn. That's one of my favorite hymns, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Tune my heart to sing thy grace. And that is absolutely true. And when the choir gets up, when the soloists get up, when somebody brings their guitar or their clarinet or their flute or their violin, it always lifts people up. And it's amazing what happens when someone shares from the fullness of their heart. Because you have such a full heart, it overflows into what you bring. And so for those people that are leading in the UMW, the United Women of Faith, UWF.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, people that come and do the repairs at the church, those are people with full hearts that come and give of themselves every week to make sure that everything happens. And when one of them is missing, it's like a piece of our heart is missing. So we're always looking to make sure we have a full complement of gifts at our church. So come and add to our fullness. Bring your richness to add to ours. It will enrich you and enrich us in many ways, things we can't even see now.
We just need to know. We just need to hear. If you give us a clue, we'll pull it out for sure. We'll find it.
Well, and if you think that you don't have a place, you're wrong. There is a place. There's always a place.
Always.
For you next to me or Sue in our pew, and at a meeting, or just down having a potluck, there's always a chair with your name on it.
Or in our choir.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Come make a joyful noise.
That's right.
Kind of like Maria in The Sound of Music. She was irrepressible. They could not stop her, even when she got a little down in the dumps after she realized she was in love with the gentleman in the family, and she left, and she was very down in the dumps. They couldn't keep her down for long. She escaped back to her safe spot at the nunnery where she had been living.
Mhm.
And they built her up again and encouraged her. And she came back and she faced whatever trouble which she was facing. And she built from there. And God gave her a gift. She gave of herself and her gifts, and God richly blessed her.
And you
So
think of the nunnery as a safe place, a place, like you said, of building Maria back up. Our church is a safe place to build people up. We just need to all be focused on each other and loving each other and loving the talents that we all have to share.
It's like coming up. The children were an important message in The Sound of Music and at the church on Sunday. The children bring life and joy and the irrepressible enthusiasm that we need in our lives, because sometimes we run out of energy in our well-run drives and we need to be recharged. And so coming to your space to build yourself up is important each week, whether you join us online or whether you come in person. And we hope you come in person because we're missing you. There's a hole where you should be. And we want to encourage you to come be in that place if you can. Otherwise, join us online and we're happy to have you there. But your gifts are important. Your smile is important. Sometimes a smile is the most important gift I get on a Sunday.
Yeah. Smiles and a hug or that special pat on the shoulder. Those are some of my favorite things. And a couple of other of my favorite things that some of you will probably think I'm absolutely nuts. I actually get joy from pulling weeds and cleaning out flower beds. Oh, see, cleaning out flower beds, or driving across Kansas. And I know a lot of people think I'm really nuts because that's some of my happy space, my happy times. And like I said, just hearing the laughter of children. But the one thing that I thought about was when I find something that I lost or I misplaced, it's like, that makes me really happy. So I guess that if something makes you happy, that's one of your favorite things.
Well, I was thinking that very same thing about driving across the prairie, and there is beauty in everything. God is all around us, and I love the vast vistas that you get from the top of a rolling hill. They may not be magnificent, like the Grand Tetons or the Alps or any of those things. But when you get to the top of that rolling hill and you look over God's handiwork in the vastness of the prairie, it's amazing how beautiful, and all the animals you see and the birds soaring and the cows. I love looking at cows.
Yes.
I mean,
and I do, because I'm from Western Kansas, and everybody knows that I absolutely am a Kansas girl. Country, no. I grew up in the city. I claim the country. But that's where our favorite memories are, our favorite things. And I think driving across Kansas, or even like when I drove to Wisconsin, and just seeing the beauty of the earth, the fields and the crops and the animals. I just love it.
and those are just a few of our favorite things, because we could
Just
go
a
on about favorite things forever, I think. What is your favorite thing? We'd love to hear from you.
And I would like to share the last words for today from the chorus of These Are Some of My Favorite Things. When I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things. And then I don't feel so bad. And maybe if I don't feel so bad, then I won't be scratchy to somebody's ears or to their hearts. Have a wonderful week.
And be a light. Bring a smile and a hug. Bye-bye.
Bye.